Okay, we're back. So every single week I get to come on here and go live on my YouTube channel as well as other platforms and share things that are important to me with respect to moving to Utah, living in Utah, and all things that relate to life here in Utah. And today I have a special guest with me. This is Sabin Howard. And Sabin is known as the Modern Day Michelangelo. And we're going to talk about why that is and what it means. And more importantly, what he's here for and why did he choose to make the move here and what is his purpose here. So we're going to cover all of those things. And I think this is a really cool opportunity. As I talk to people every single week, I'm noticing that I have about 70 to 80,000 views on my YouTube channel every single month. And with that, I have about 10 to 12,000 unique viewers that are watching my videos. So my hope is that those that this type of content really resonates with, there's something in this conversation and this story that will help you identify with maybe some answers that you're looking for as to whether or not this could be a good place for you as well. Or if you already live here, if this is something that's relevant to you as well. So let's kick this off and kind of make the introduction. Sabin, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Scott.
So Sabin is a dear friend now, and he reached out to me, I think it was about exactly a year ago, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. Tell me about it. What was your experience?
I reached out. I was sitting at my living room table in Connecticut, and I've been living in the New York City area for basically about 55 years, and realized that it was time to start over again because things had changed so much. The East Coast has really morphed in a way that I felt like an outsider, and I needed to go towards something that was more like that held the values that I have. And Tracy, my wife, and I just kind of came to a place where it was like tipping point, time to roll. And
that's when you know it's time.
Yep. She was like, she'd been in touch with Senator Mike Lee and Sharon, his wife, and they'd met at some event. And then we got on a phone call with Sharon and Mike one Sunday afternoon. I remember it like super vividly. It was a year ago in the beginning of November. And Mike was like, listen, you guys need to take a look at Utah and Salt Lake. He had met me at the unveiling of a big monument that I made by the White House. And that kind of kicked it off. And so then I got off the phone with them and I went to the computer and I started watching Scott's YouTube channel.
That's awesome. And we're not here to just prop up the YouTube channel, but at the same time, like there's meaning.
That was big.
That is big. There's meaning behind why you chose to come here. And we're going to talk about more about that. But you are the world's greatest figurative sculptor.
Thank you.
A lot of people say that.
I'm all right.
And they compare you to Michelangelo, which of course is your hero.
Yeah.
Someone who you deeply, admire and look up to. And even though his work was centuries and centuries ago, I think we've lost that in the form of art that we've as it's evolved over the last couple 100 years. We don't have that anymore.
Yeah, it's something very relevant. It needs to be played forward, not archaeologically, but like in a way that's contemporary that, your everyday Joe can figure out and get a reaction that's visceral and uplifting. So,
and with that, I want to kind of segue into this first talking point. I want to talk about your most recent work that took you the better part of a decade. Oh, wow. The new World War I monument that was unveiled last September of 2024, correct?
Yeah.
And that monument, I'm going to share that on screen here really quickly. That monument is pretty breathtaking. And I think I could probably spend hours looking at this thing and just reading the story that's embedded in the figurative art here. But I would love for you to tell me this story and what it means to you and how impactful this is, not only for our nation, but for you personally.
Well, let's take this back 10 years, because that's when this journey kind of started. It was like May of 2015, and there was a competition that was global, and I'm trying to figure out who to join. And I entered this competition, and there are 360 teams. And at the end of the day, this young kid, Joe Weishar, who's like not even an architect, he's an architect in training, and myself, we win it in January of 2016. And then the roller coaster ride of doing something that is on the National Mall, that represents your country and represents the community of also veterans today and those that are deceased 100 years ago from this global event that actually changed who we are as human beings and how we see ourselves. And I got to do this project. I got to design it. I got to come up with a concept and the story and make something that's a bronze movie that, anyone going to Washington to learn the history of our country can look at and get. And so
Even my 10-year-old son.
that's right. Even
Yeah.
your 10-year-old son. And
Yeah.
if you get 5,000 visitors a day
Mhm.
coming to see that sculpture, and it's 60 feet long. It has 38 figures, and it's the hero's journey. And it's 6 acts, but it's a protagonist who's a soldier. He's an allegory for the United States, and he's a father. And it's called A Soldier's Journey. And he leaves his family and he enters into the Brotherhood of Arms and leads a battle. And in that horrific moment, he is transformed. He becomes shell-shocked.
Mhm.
And then the final scene, he returns home to his daughter and hands her his helmet. And that is the next generation. She's World War II. And that's the story I came up with. And I'm very proud of it because it's something that I could not have done anything more on it over those 9.5 years. It's truly a life-altering experience for me.
That's amazing. I mean, I'm looking at the photo right now, just that depicts the story. The shell-shocked figure is off to the right, correct? About 75% through the storyline
it's
there.
the focus of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I use real veterans, so their faces are on that wall. Their experiences told through the history of their morphology and body type is on that wall. It's very poignant. It's very human. It's a very pro-human, pro-healing experience. It's not about war and then glorifying war as this. I'm very averse to war, having grown up in the Vietnam era. So this was my contribution to leave the world a better place than when I came in.
And World War I is such a forgotten war. It's not talked about nearly as much as World War II. But how do you embody the physical and the human spirit in the figures like this? Because you're obviously looking at these things with such deep meaning that an average person probably won't unless they're actually presented with something like this. In fact, later on in this video, we're going to talk about this thing right behind us, which is the real reason why we're talking about these things on this video. Sabin's actually here in Utah to build the next great national monument here in Salt Lake City, Utah. So we're going to talk about that as well. But how do you infuse all of that emotion and spirit and divinity and everything else into a sculpture like this?
Well, the sculpture is done in a way that's it's in lineage to Western civilization and all the great art that came before us, and it's a way of playing it forward, but not archaeologically. It's a way to do it in a way that makes it. You take that form. We're made in God's image, and so the figures are all sculpted from life, and those are all real people. And there's nothing generic at all about any of the individuals. They're visceral. And so when you look at them, you see a unique psychology of a human being. And so those faces on that wall draw you in because you're curious. And so you have a connection. You have all of a sudden this catharsis that becomes and unifies all these people that come see it, because it's this. First of all, it's a history and it's a story that our country partook in. And that's already something that brings us together, because history is what binds a culture and a nation together. And then each one of those people, there's a diversity on that wall because there's many types that went into battle. There's Native American Indians, there's blacks, there's like Jews, there's also like Europeans, and I used all sorts, and not because I picked them out to like check boxes, but that's just because those were the models that showed up. English, French, Italians, and women, and children. And so there's this sense of all of humanity on that wall. It's this, and they're all moving forward. They're all moving forward towards the future. So
that's pretty awesome. That's the American story, right?
Yeah.
We're here to move forward.
Yeah.
Now we could argue and talk about today's modern world in which we live and how we need a little bit more of this in life. And I think that's part of the reason why you're here. But what did you learn about yourself as you created this monument? Because it took you the better part of a decade.
The biggest thing I learned was to be in service of is incredibly empowering. And that means that you belong to something bigger than yourself. And so this is, as an artist, you're constantly growing. and morphing into your next better version. At least that's what I want to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
And this project made me really think about, like, well, I entered it as an artist, and I exited it as someone who is deeply in love and wants to play forward that love of the history of humanity and bring it forward to the next generation and show us the direction that we should move
Mm-hmm.
in, as not only a country but also as humanity. And that means that I
Yeah.
learned about, like, okay, well, what are the choices here? It's agency and self-responsibility, because that's what the composition is. There are no victims on the wall.
Yeah.
Wherever you are is because you put yourself there and you created the situation that you're in.
Yeah.
So, like, if you have a problem, figure out how to solve it. You become stronger and you proceed to the next better version of yourself. As this is all this stuff was like brewing on in me. And then when I reached out to you last November, it was like I was looking for a place that had similar values. And that's kind of why
Yeah.
I landed in
That's why you
Salt
landed
Lake.
in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
The most profound experience that I had in meeting you when you came to visit and we were touring the city and we were going through the city, you asked me specifically as you were riding along with me if we could stop and get out of the car and go just walk around. And as we walked into buildings, the first building you wanted to walk into was the Tabernacle on Temple Square in downtown Salt Lake City. And unlike everybody else that walks into these buildings, myself included, and we stare at the architecture, we look at how it was built, we're fascinated with those things. You weren't interested in any of that. You were interested in what you felt in terms of the people that came before us, who built it, who spoke there, who lived there, and it felt that the words out of your mouth it was just heavy. There was so much in that building, nothing to do, and it had nothing to do with the architecture or anything like that.
No.
But then, I mean, that was the most profound memory that I have of meeting you when we came here. But it was just, within an hour later, you decided this is the place that I want to be.
Yeah.
Which in Utah, that statement carries a lot of weight with respect to how this place was settled to begin with. In fact, there's a monument called This Is the Place Monument, but you actually felt your own version of that. And I'm really curious, after doing this monument in Washington, D.C., why wouldn't you just build the next national monument in D.C. or somewhere on the East Coast?
Bear in mind, okay, from Europe.
Right. You grew up in Italy.
I grew up in Italy. My mother is Italian. My first language was Italian. And I came back to this country when I was 3 years old. So my hard drive is made up of two things. It's like traditional values and sacred beauty, visual splendor of Europe, and then also like this modern can-do attitude that I encountered in the 60s and 70s in New York City. And so this was like a mix that's who I am. And so when I landed here and I got off the plane and met Scott and we drove around and we went to This Is the Place Monument, I had my own version of This Is the Place. We get to Temple Square and I'm looking around and I have this very gut visceral feeling. It's all chemical feeling in my body because I operate on intuition. And the intuition was, you have landed in a place that is the closest to Europe in terms of holding God and faith high up in value. Also, the sense of building things, of not tearing down, destroying like on the East Coast, but building things and building them in a proper way. Or you look at Temple Square, that's a monument to a lot of people that came here that wanted to recreate actually their European values in a new place without having any sense of being trapped by being told how they should worship or how they should think or go about their life. And I instantly was hit by how free I was. There wasn't this heaviness that you encounter on the East Coast, but it was more of a limitless of like anything can go here. The sky is the limit. If you can think it, then you can build it. Yeah. And I got on the phone. I called Tracy, my wife, and I said, Tracy, and it's so funny. This is the place. I said it. I just said, Tracy, this is the place. We're going to come here. And I'd been in Salt Lake for 2 hours, and I call my wife and I go, "This is the place," and she goes, "Okay, hon, we'll move to Salt Lake." And it was a decision based on intuition, and I that's the way I operate. It's like I don't in your life either you decide what your prison is or someone else is going to decide what your prison is. And I wanted to decide what my prison is. So I decided, okay, I'm going to Salt Lake and I will do a big monument there. And that's my prison. But
so this is your prison.
this is my prison. It's my purpose.
Right.
Purpose is your prison.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like a negative thing, but I picked it. So at least I get to build something that I want to be in.
True. That's very true. That's amazing. And speaking of building something you want to be in, this is the reason why you're here. It's this little maquette right behind us built out of clay. And we're going to talk about this, but you're now creating what many are calling the next great American monument. And what is the name of this thing? And can you tell us about it? You've been working on it for some time now. We've got some big events coming up, dinners with local and civil leaders, as well as influential people that are hopefully going to help make this happen, including others that don't yet know that it's going to be happening, to the point where hopefully this video reaches the right people and can help influence those as well to make sure that this becomes a reality. Can you tell us more about this new venture?
Okay, bear in mind, Scott, on March 14th at 2 p.m., Tracy and I had at that point put all our house in Connecticut into 4 pods.
Yeah.
And we had gotten into our Sprinter van loaded up with my art collection. And we set out and we arrived in Salt Lake. No commission except a commission from higher power.
Yep.
And I had a vision that I should make something that was on par with the great destination monuments of our country, like Statue of Liberty or the Lincoln Memorial.
But they're all on the East Coast.
That's right.
Why don't we have any in the West?
And the reason that I thought I need to go west, because the West is all about what can be. What are the possibilities? And I know I'm 63 this coming year, and I know that I got one more big monument in me because they take 10 years. And
well,
so
you got to be done before 2034.
That's right.
There's a reason for that.
The Olympics are coming. And I came up with this idea, and now we are 9 months later, and I've made this maquette behind us. And this is the largest figurative monument. And I'm not going to say that the whole world has ever seen. It's on par with the concepts of the Sistine Chapel. There are 57 figures here. 12 of them are above the arch. And then there are 6 relief panels that tell the history, the philosophy of America told through its history, which is about agency, self-responsibility, and manifesting a vision of what can be. And so this concept grew and grew and grew over the last eight months. And then now on December 16th, the governor, the mayor, a few of the deputy mayors, people from the culture and art sector of the government, and then high-standing citizens that want to get behind us are coming as we have a dinner to kind of launch this publicly and make this become something that is, physical and real.
It needs to be.
It's turning a dream into reality. And so I want to finish the model of it, which will be a 6-foot-long model, to unveil that on July 4th to celebrate our country's 250th birthday.
So this dinner on the 16th of December will be a really cool moment. But the 4th of July, the 250th birthday of our country, is the real coming out party with the full model.
Yeah.
Is that going to be built out of resin?
It may be bronze. It depends on how we go with.
It depends on
timing,
couple weeks.
Timing, and funding. And then the launch is the sculpture, which is 60 feet wide, 38 feet high, and about 20 feet deep. That will be completed just before the Olympics. And we want to have an eternal flame in front of it. That eternal flame represents our freedom as Americans to pick and choose what we want, so we don't have to be what our parents are. And that is where the Olympics will start, and that should be a global event.
That can be the torch for the Olympic Games as well.
Yeah.
And for scale, I know that you can't see this on this video if you're watching this in the live format, but I will be posting this as another video as well where I'll be able to layer on photos and imagery and B-roll, so to speak. But the scale of this, if you see this little guy here at the base, that's the height of a human being. So this thing is absolutely gargantuan. It's huge.
Epic.
So Sabin, why Salt Lake City of all places? I think you've gone a little bit into that, but why Salt Lake City? And
I looked around. I thought, okay, I'll go to Texas, and I went to Texas, and that was a disaster. And then the energy was not what I expected. I thought it was a place that would fit well with the concept. And I arrive in Salt Lake, and the energy, like what Scott talked about, this energy is very limited. You don't have a sense of being like established already.
Yeah.
Look at this East Coast. You're looking at cities on the East Coast that are, let's say 1700s. What is Salt Lake? You're looking at
1847.
Yeah,
1847.
It's like, this is like a really young place. It hasn't hit its peak yet.
Yeah, we're still building.
Still building.
Yep.
And no pun intended, the sky is the limit.
Yeah.
And if you look here, the expansiveness of your vision is like, you can see for miles. Like, it's not unusual to buy a home and you can see like for 35 miles.
Yeah.
And you're surrounded by mountains. So the environment gives this different psychology to the people that live here. And there is a sense of community and kindness that it was established because of, the way this place was formed.
That's true.
It was formed with religious values in mind. Whether you like Mormonism and Latter-day Saints or not, there is that has a profound effect on how people interact. And so what I found, my own experience was that the East Coast is very interested in status and how much money you have. And so that becomes your worth and not so much anything else. So if somebody's worth talking to, it depends on how big their bank account is. And that's tantamount to how much power they have. And so this is it's a very narcissistic, ego-driven environment. So I really had gotten tired of that. And I was looking for something that would be more embracing with kindness and community. And I started this project, and I really want to bring this up. I had such a hard time with the models that I sculpted from on the East Coast because they all had to go talk to their agent and check on their phone 10 times a day to see what was happening in their life that they could never give to something that was outside of themselves. And you do that, you're isolated and you're alienated.
Yeah.
And I think I arrived at a place where the models here, it's like I went through the composition of this in 3 weeks. It just came to life and sang instantly because everybody was like, how can I help?
How can I be part of it?
Yeah.
Be part of the story. That's incredible.
I just came here because I wanted to serve my community.
I think it speaks volumes to the people of Utah.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with religion. It's the deep purpose that people have in living here, moving here. There's a different sense of that here. And I talk about it constantly. But as being someone who's from Utah, I'm biased, of course. My wife, of course, came from Southern California. We won't talk about why California is not going to get a monument like this, but I think we're pretty lucky to have you here.
Thank you.
We're pretty blessed.
It's a really good fit for me.
And it's going to be called the Grand Liberty Arch, hopefully.
Yeah.
And what do you hope that one day, after you're long gone, when people stand beneath that arch and they walk through it and they experience your monument, it's actually not your monument, it's our monument.
Yeah.
What do you want them to feel?
Two things. A sense that anything is possible. Because if you go to a monument like, let's say, Eiffel Tower, and you stand underneath it, you are awestruck by how epic it is. And that should elevate you. Or if you go into Chartres Cathedral or any of these places that Utah State Capitol, you go into a place that elevates your consciousness and brings you to a place of like higher being. And this is what this place does. You look at the mountains around you, and the mountains elevate you because look how massive they are, and you have a connection. You don't feel puny; you feel elevated because you feel empowered. And so,
well, that's kind of the motto of Utah now is life elevated. And so you just hit the nail on the head there again.
Yeah,
but you're feeling it. You're feeling it before you actually know it.
okay, I want to, this is completely weird, but but you're going to like this.
Okay.
Yesterday I went to a dentist.
Mhm.
I met the lady at the front desk, the dentist assistants, the dentist, all made me feel like I was a human being and kind and like interacted and all this humanity. And it was like, that never happened in a dentist office in New York City, ever. And then I went to a place for a blister on my toe. I'm not kidding you. And the receptionist was like, "How was your day going today, Sabin?"
Yeah.
And she said my name right. And, and it was just like a really embracing feeling.
There aren't many places where they're going to say your name right, unless you're in Alabama, maybe.
Yeah.
Sabin.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, why would you want to be in a place where nobody says hi to you?
Yeah.
Everybody like thinks they're better than you.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, it's like you threw a bunch of marbles on the ground and they all went scattered in different places and they had nothing to do with each other. It's just wrong thinking. And that's my opinion.
Okay, I like that opinion. Do you think that your art, or just art in general, can elevate a society and a people?
It has to.
It has to. Why?
It has to. Because art is not an individual statement. Art has to work. It has to be an individual statement because that artist is an individual being, and also because that art is there to serve others and to elevate others into a higher level of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
I am very averse to things that debase you, that are ironic, that make fun of human beings. Like I said in the beginning of the podcast, a figure itself is made in God's image. Shouldn't that be enough that it elevates you when you look at a figure? And shouldn't you do the best damn job you can to make that figure really magnificent, like nature? I mean, I'm going back to Leonardo, Michelangelo, and Raphael in terms of like what art should be. And that's how I think art should play forward.
So you don't think if I just create something and call it art, it should be considered art?
It's not art.
It's not objective.
It's not. There's no. That's like subjective, and I'm arguing for objective values about beauty and truth and excellence, because that's what represents us. Culture and art represent you, every one of you guys listening. And so it's like, why would you want to be represented by a block of bricks on the ground or a banana peel stuck to a wall? Yeah. That's not doing anything for you.
Yeah.
Would you buy a crappy house, an ugly house? No. A crappy car? No.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Why would you buy a crappy piece of art?
Right. Some people buy it, but maybe it's just not. Maybe it's not art after all. It's a tax write-off.
Yeah. There you go.
So
truth.
Truth. We're 250 years in on this experiment that we call America. And the thing that I think I'm most excited about with your new monument here is, where is our country going? Because our country's in a pretty tough spot right now. We're very divided. We're very against each other. And I think social media plays a real big role in that. I think that we're constantly fed in a direction that opposes us. It makes us more polarized than ever. And I think we need stuff like this to unify us. So what do you want people to think about this, in 250 years from now? So 250 years from now, this monument will still be here. Yeah. What do you want people to feel?
Let's use a couple words here that I might explain things a little bit more and what we want to leave for the future. I'm looking for words to describe our populace that unify us, that don't divide us. So one of the things that I really object to is this like separation of human beings into like all these different groups. And so I'm making a monument that first and foremost, it's pro-human. That's where it starts. It starts with human being. Then we're all Americans.
Yeah.
That means every one of us shares something in common, that we are Americans. And then family is incredibly important. And then it's like, then the list begins after that. Then you can say whether, you're black or white, or you're gay or straight, or that should be the last thing on the list. It's not your identity. Sexuality is not your identity. That should be the very end of the spectrum. You should lead with that. We all have skeletons. We all bleed the same color blood. It's red. Yeah. And that's what this monument is about. It's a unifying statement that is an epic, grand statement about who we are and what we can be. and elevates us. That's what I want to leave for posterity.
That's amazing. I'm assuming there will be some figures in this monument that will be pointing towards the future.
Yes.
But don't you feel as well that there are things to learn from the past?
Yes.
So as we read the story written on the faces of these figures in our country's history, we should also be able to look into the future by seeing that.
Yeah, that's a really great point. The monument is very much about courage and pride.
Mm-hmm.
And freedom is not something that is easily attainable. You really have to fight, to struggle to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I chose the freedom of driving across the country and the freedom of like, I'm going to make a monument that's the biggest one our country's ever seen. Now, that's not an easy task. There are lots of days when I hit speed bumps, but I keep my eye on the vision of where I have to go. And this monument it's a statement about entrepreneurship and being able to choose how you wish to proceed. And I do not want to be taken care of by anyone, by the government, because that takes away the empowerment that was written into the Bill of Rights, the Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
and Declaration of Independence. And so this monument is also a very personal statement for me, because I at age 19, Scott, I don't know if you knew, I couldn't draw at all.
At age 19?
19, I started, I said, I'm going to be an artist. It was at 4:00 on like October 21st, 1982. I quit my job and I called an art school and I said, I want to go to art school. And they said, well, show me your portfolio. I said, what's a portfolio? That's where I started. And look at where I am now. I made this one of the biggest, sculptures on the planet.
That's amazing.
And so it's like because I proceeded. And I went through a tremendous amount of turmoil and conflict to get there. The monument is a personal statement, but it's also a statement about all of us as Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Pride in being American. You cannot have a country that flourishes when you divide it. It must be unified and have this sense that we take care of our own and we proceed forward with everyone. You don't leave anyone behind on the battlefield. That's what this monument is about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's explained through these 6 different relief panels telling the history of when we were born. And then as you walk through the arch, you end up with westward expansion.
Mm-hmm.
And then the westward expansion develops into the 20th century. So it's also about the future.
I think on the back side of the monument at the very top, some of the biggest figures are turning a gigantic wagon wheel.
Yeah.
And I asked you what the meaning behind that is. And it's about looking forward and moving forward. And despite how much work it actually takes to make that happen.
Well, a wagon wheel, if you just think about what the circle symbolizes,
right.
It's eternity.
Right.
A circle is equidistant from the center or the hub, and everything expands outwards to that. It's a very deep symbolic meaning that has been with us since the beginning of time for all humanity. And then all of a sudden, here it is. It appears in the West with wagon wheels. So
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 people pushing this wheel forward, and it's this allegory for moving forward, but also acting in unison to do something that's very difficult, and it's physical. And you have to think about, like, here these people came to, this is the place monument,
right?
And they stood there and they looked out over this like brown desert scape. Yeah. And if you come and look here at what Salt Lake is, it'll blow your mind.
It's blossomed.
Yeah. And it's not done yet. It's not just beginning.
Yet. We're still 100 years behind the rest of the country. I mean, to be honest with you, we're still building. We're not tired of the same things that people are in some of the other areas in the country.
It's not established.
It's not. Yeah. It's still being
the growth
built.
curve. The growth curve is young. It's just started, and the potential is just, it hasn't even reached like close to what it can be. And you arrive in places like New York, things have been around for a while, and it's established, and it's more set in stone. Everybody's got their place, and this place is. It's pretty incredible that everybody that I know has a dream and a little mini business that they're going to grow.
Yeah.
And I mean, this kid Tanner, who is a model for me, is he's got a gummy bear idea for like the gym, where this could blossom into a multi-million-dollar business.
Yeah.
But it's just this vision. Everybody holds their own personal vision. and they're willing to like, share and get involved with other people too.
That's how it works here. I say it all the time. It's different here in Utah than it is most everywhere else, including the West Coast in California, and especially so when you compare it to the East Coast. I hear these same things from clients that are moving here all the time, from people that have moved here, from people that I'm having current conversations with. They all say the similar things. So, we're getting close to wrapping up here, but I want to ask you a few questions that hopefully will resonate with people that are watching this and wanting to learn about the Grand Liberty Arch and this next monument that's going to be taking place here. So, Sabin, do you feel that you've found your next great chapter here in Utah? How do you feel?
I believe that, never say never, but I believe that this will be my last really big monument. I can't pull off another one like this because the physical nature of it is just, it's a pounding.
Yeah.
So it'll be a 7-year process of working very intensely with a crew of 4 people to accomplish this. And I don't feel that I will be leaving Utah after it.
Hopefully not.
No,
hopefully you love it enough to stay.
I never say never, because you never know what God's got planned for you. This is an incredible place if you wish to reach your potential as an individual.
Yeah.
And so that's what I want to do. I want to go out knowing that there are no what ifs. It's like I went for it.
Yeah.
Go big or go home. That's my motto.
There you go.
That's why I'm bringing the biggest monument to this place.
I love it. It's going to be a new monument. Now, we don't have yet an exact location totally identified yet.
We're pretty close.
We've explored a bunch of areas. There's one that we're pretty close with, that hopefully that's the landing spot.
I believe it will be, because it's sacred ground. It's right behind the new Capitol building.
The new building right behind the old Capitol building.
Yep. And that's a pretty cool.
Pretty cool
plaza.
spot.
It's elevated space. And the monument will sit within an environment that can embrace it.
Yeah.
And Spencer Cox was responsible. He's the governor here for putting up that building in 2 years. It cost $300 million. So that gives you an example of what's possible here. Just think about that for a second. Less red tape, more ambition and vision
and execution.
Things
actually happen here.
Yeah. And that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's another place in the country that I could do what I just did in 9 months.
You really feel that way?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Do you believe that Utah is now part of your legacy? Because that's a big reason why art is meaningful to you, because you want to leave something behind long after you're gone.
I feel that what I am about to do will be taken care of and will not be torn down or its meaning diminished in value, because it is the culture of the place that began in, like you said, 1847, but it is not going away no matter how many people move here, because it is the horror line or the energy that runs through the place. And it is an incredible location, because if you talk about energy, you can ground into the soil here, and you're not all floaty and dreamy and things actually get accomplished. Dreams get built here.
It's good to hear, because I feel that way, but I've lived here my whole life, so I don't know a whole lot of different areas in terms of what it feels like to live elsewhere. And so for me, it's pretty cool to hear that you're having that experience, as do many other people as well. And just kind of wrap things up, if someone asked you why you chose Utah of all places, what would you tell them?
There's another aspect we didn't talk about tonight.
Let's talk about that first.
Outdoors. The outdoors here, I love being outdoors. I bike year round. It's an obvious skiing place. I'm going to learn how to ski this winter. I'm 62. I'm going to.
So you're not too old to learn how to ski.
No, you're not too old to learn how to ski.
Never.
And I love being outdoors here, and the houses are really amazing too, because the houses are large, and even though you don't get a lot of land, you can get a great view and see. I mean, imagine waking up and you're looking at a brick wall every morning. And then you got to go get in an elevator with people that you've taken that elevator.
They won't say hi.
They won't say hi.
They won't ask you how your day is.
Yeah. And then it's like, so here, it's
Yeah.
like, I know my neighbors. I knew my neighbors within 2 days. I've had dinner with both my neighbors on each side of my house. I meet people all the time. It's this is like the least lonely place I've ever been to.
That's amazing.
And there's so many people that, I mean, if I wanted to, I could go be in a bike club and I could ride with 20 or 30 people. I like to ride alone.
Yeah.
But it's like,
there's plenty of people that are bikers here that you could go ride with if you wanted to.
And you know, they say, oh, there's not a lot of good food here. I'm gonna beg to differ, because I've been to some restaurants here that can compete really well with what I ate in New York City.
Okay, well, that's good to hear, and I hear that constantly. But things have really changed in the last decade, like tremendously.
No, I mean, I go to this place. I'm going to give a plug to the Pines in the Draper.
Yep,
incredible restaurant in the summer where I sit outside underneath all these giant pine trees and all these lights, and you know, a little area with like flames, and the service. The people are so kind when they serve you, and not outrageously expensive, like, you know, what I came from. It's
all context too.
Yes.
I mean, if you're coming from New York City, everything's less expensive here.
There's a cleanliness too.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And the other thing also, I never feel like I'm going to get mugged. But you laugh.
That's good.
But if I would leave my home in New York City and I would walk, like, you know, you always got your eyes open in the back of your head.
Right.
If you walk your dog at night, it's like you always have this sense of like, am I going to get jumped now?
Yeah.
It's very strange now that I've left that. There's a great deal of security. I don't lock my door.
Mm-hmm.
I don't lock the car door. It's like I know there's crime here, but it's nowhere near as bad as it is from where I came from, which is Manhattan.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's your favorite restaurant here so far?
Urban Hill's amazing.
Urban Hill's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Urban Hill's great, and the Pines in Draper is another really great restaurant.
Perfect.
The food is exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived in Europe. I've been all over the world. I've been to London many times.
Mm-hmm.
This is a cool place.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. It's cool to see that I'm not the only one that feels this way. So these are the things that you would probably tell people if they were considering making the move to Utah. And for those that already live here, what would you want to say to us as local Utahns in welcoming someone such as yourself that's looking to build something so impactful that we can have deep meaning in as well?
Well, most of the people that I know are from Utah. I don't know a lot of outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
This was when I go to Italy, I feel like I'm home. Like there's this sense of warmth. I make friends instantly. I have conversations all day long.
Mm-hmm.
I joke around with people. And this is really one of the first places in the United States that I came to that I have a kinship with. And I have great rapport with the people from Utah. It's just like I'm in community, and it happens so fast.
9 months.
I mean, it's
10 months.
I never called you up and said, "Hey, Scott, I can't find anybody to go out have fun with." It was like I know 15 people that are like really close friends. We just went by Thanksgiving, and I got invited to 4 different Thanksgiving tables.
That's amazing. Your first year here.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And I mean, it's like I just wanted to be with my wife and daughter.
Yeah,
and it's like my dog is like got somebody that when we go away that Xena can be with my new friends. It's just incredible.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's community.
And I didn't say I went to La Madeleine Church, the Catholic church here,
the Cathedral of the Madeleine.
This is very cool too, because I don't know if your audience is religious or spiritual, but just a community, and it was all ages, all different skin colors, all different types. Very vibrant, not like a dead spirituality. It was like very uplifting. Like everyone leaves there with this sense of like well-being and elevated spirit. To me, it's on you how much you want to explore, how deep you want to go meet people. It's really a beautiful thing here.
Well, I agree. Utah's an amazing place. Sabin, thank you so much for coming.
Pleasure, Scott.
I appreciate you. I'm gonna get some good footage of this of this new monument and some photos, renderings, and whatnot, and put that together in another video so that the people that are watching this can actually experience the magnitude of what this next monument here in Utah is going to feel like and look like, and why we should support it and why we should look forward to its unveiling, in at least in model form, on the 4th of July next year, but really looking forward to it for the 2034 Olympics. All right, Sabin, thank you so much. And with that said, we'll see you next week.